English Rise Podcast.
Hey, English learners! Welcome to English Rise Podcast. I'm Emma.
And I'm Alex. It's great to have you with us again. And if you're new here, subscribe to English Rise Podcast for more real English conversations.
Today, we're going to practice something that can make a huge difference in your English journey.
And what is that?
Real English.
Real English?
Yes, not the English you usually find in a grammar exercise. Not sentences that sound perfect but unnatural.
You mean the kind of English people actually use in everyday life?
Exactly.
And today, we're taking that English into the workplace.
Right. Our topic is real English listening practice at work.
So if you're learning English for school, university, your future career, or simply because you want to communicate more confidently, stay with us.
Because during this episode, you're going to hear conversations about meetings, emails, deadlines, teamwork, problems, coffee breaks, and professional communication.
And there's something important you should remember before we begin.
You do not need to understand every single word.
Exactly.
You miss a word, don't stop the conversation in your mind.
Keep listening.
Try to understand the meaning from the context.
And if you hear a useful expression, repeat it.
That's how listening gradually becomes natural.
So, Emma, are you ready for a realistic day at work?
I think so.
You don't sound very confident.
Because I already know what's waiting for me.
What?
Emails.
That's true. Emails are waiting for almost everyone.
And meetings.
Even more dangerous.
Exactly.
Okay, let's begin. What time did you arrive at work today?
I arrived at around 8:30.
That's early.
Usually, I arrive closer to 9, but today I wanted some extra time to organize my day.
That sounds like a smart idea.
I think so too. When I arrive early, I don't feel as rushed.
What did you do first?
I made a cup of coffee, opened my computer, checked my calendar, and looked through my emails.
Did you have many emails?
More than I expected.
How many?
I had 12 new messages.
12.
Yes.
That's a lot for the beginning of the day.
It can be, but I didn't answer them randomly.
What do you mean?
I first looked at which messages were important and which could wait.
That's a useful strategy.
Yes, not every email needs an immediate response.
How do you know which ones are urgent?
I usually look at the subject line first.
What kind of words tell you that an email might be urgent?
Words like urgent, important, deadline, or action required.
Action required. What exactly does that mean?
It means the person receiving the email needs to do something.
So if I receive an email that says action required, I should probably open it quickly.
Exactly.
That's a useful phrase for English learners.
Definitely.
Let's imagine you receive an email from your manager.
Okay.
The email says,
Hi, Emma. Could you send me the updated sales report before noon? We need it for this afternoon's meeting.
that sounds important. How would you respond?
I might write, Hi, Alex. Sure, I'm working on it now. I'll send you the updated report before noon. Best, Emma.
Simple and professional.
Exactly.
Another useful phrase is, I'm working on it.
Yes.
If someone asks, have you finished the report?
You can say, Not yet. I'm working on it.
That sounds natural.
Very natural.
What if you need more time?
You could say, I'm still working on it. Could I have a little more time?
Or, in a more professional situation,
Would it be possible to extend the deadline?
exactly.
Extend the deadline means to give someone more time.
Right. Speaking of deadlines, do you like working under pressure?
Sometimes.
Sometimes?
A reasonable deadline can actually help me focus.
Why?
Because I know exactly what I need to finish and when I need to finish it.
What happens when there are too many deadlines?
Then things become stressful.
Have you ever missed a deadline?
Unfortunately, yes.
What happened?
Last year, I had to prepare a very important presentation.
And?
I thought I had plenty of time.
That sounds dangerous already.
It was.
What did you do?
I kept telling myself, I'll do it tomorrow.
Ah, procrastination.
Exactly.
And then?
Suddenly, I realized the deadline was the next morning.
Oh no.
Yes.
What did you learn from that experience?
I learned that big tasks become easier when you divide them into smaller tasks.
That's an excellent lesson.
Instead of saying, I have to finish this huge presentation, I say, first, I'll collect the information. Then, I'll organize it. After that, I'll prepare the slides.
That makes the process much less overwhelming.
Exactly.
Now let's imagine something very common at work.
What?
Your coworker comes to your desk.
Okay.
Hey Emma, do you have a minute?
Sure, what's up?
I wanted to ask you something about tomorrow's presentation.
Of course, how can I help?
Do you have the latest sales numbers?
Let me check.
Thanks.
Yes, I have them right here.
Great. Could you send them to me?
Sure, I'll email them to you.
Thanks. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
That conversation is short, but there are several useful expressions.
The first one is, do you have a minute?
It doesn't literally mean 1 minute.
Right. It's a polite way to ask if someone is available for a short conversation.
Another expression is, what's up?
That's informal and friendly.
In a more formal situation, you could say, how can I help you?
Exactly.
And finally, I really appreciate it.
That means you are thankful for someone's help.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining the meeting.
Good morning.
Today we're going to discuss our progress and our plans for next month.
Sounds good.
Let's start with the current project.
We're about 70% finished.
That's good progress.
Yes, but we still have a few issues.
What kind of issues?
We're waiting for information from another department.
Do we know when they'll send it?
They said they would send it by Friday.
Okay, let's follow up with them tomorrow if we haven't received anything.
Good idea.
Did you notice the phrase, follow up?
Yes.
What does it mean?
It means to contact someone again about something.
For example, I'll follow up with the client tomorrow.
Or, can you follow up with the marketing team?
Exactly.
There's another situation that can be difficult for English learners.
Which one?
When someone speaks quickly during a meeting.
Yes, that happens.
And sometimes you understand every word individually, but you still don't understand the sentence.
That's completely normal.
So what should you do?
Don't panic.
Exactly.
You can politely ask the person to repeat themselves.
For example?
Sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you say it again?
Excellent.
Or, could you clarify what you mean?
Very professional.
Or simply, sorry, could you repeat that?
These expressions are much better than pretending you understood.
Exactly.
Asking for clarification is not a weakness.
It's a communication skill.
What happens when you disagree with a coworker?
That can be difficult.
Especially in a professional environment.
You don't want to sound rude.
Right.
So instead of saying, you're wrong, you could say,
I see your point, but I have a different perspective.
that sounds much more professional.
Another option is,
I understand what you mean, but I'm not sure I completely agree.
good.
Let's practice.
I think we should finish the project this week.
I see your point, but I'm not sure we have enough time.
Why not?
We're still waiting for the final information from the client.
That's true.
Maybe we should ask for an extension.
I think that's a reasonable solution.
Notice how he disagreed without becoming rude.
That's an important professional skill.
Finally, it's coffee break time.
You were waiting for that moment.
Absolutely.
What do people usually talk about during a coffee break?
Not always work.
Exactly.
They might talk about the weather, weekend plans, movies, food, hobbies, or family.
That's called small talk.
And small talk is actually important.
Let's listen to a natural example.
Hey Emma, how's your day going?
Pretty good so far. It's been busy though.
Same here.
Any plans for the weekend?
I'm thinking about going hiking if the weather is nice.
That sounds great.
What about you?
I might visit my family.
Nice.
Do you usually spend your weekends with your family?
Usually, yes.
Notice how simple this conversation is.
There's no complicated grammar,
No advanced vocabulary.
but it sounds natural.
That's the point.
Now, let's make the situation a little more interesting.
What happened?
The computer system suddenly stops working.
Oh, that's never good.
Emma, are you having trouble with the system?
Yes, I've been trying to log in for the last 10 minutes.
Have you tried restarting your computer?
Yes, but it didn't help.
Okay, let's contact the IT department.
Good idea.
It didn't help is another useful expression.
It means that something you tried did not solve the problem.
For example, I restarted my phone, but it didn't help.
Exactly. Alex, what makes someone a good coworker?
I think reliability is important.
What does reliable mean?
It describes someone you can trust to do what they say they will do.
Good.
Communication is important too.
Definitely.
If there's a problem, don't hide it.
Tell your team.
Exactly.
Another important skill is helping others.
Yes, but there's something else.
What?
Knowing how to say no politely.
That can be difficult.
Imagine you're already working on an important deadline and a coworker asks you to do another task.
What should you say?
I'd be happy to help, but I'm currently working on a deadline.
And then?
Could we discuss it later this afternoon?
Excellent.
You're not rejecting the person.
You're explaining your situation.
Exactly.
It's almost 5 o'clock,
Finally,
but you still have one task.
the report.
Exactly.
I finished the last section, check the numbers, and read the report one more time.
Why check it again?
Because small mistakes can create big problems.
Good point.
Then I save the document and send it to my manager.
What do you write?
Hi Sarah, I've attached the updated report. Please let me know if you have any questions. Best, Alex.
Clear and professional.
And finally,
You can relax.
yes.
Before we finish, we have a challenge for you.
This is where you become part of the conversation.
I'll give you a situation.
Pause the episode.
Think about your answer.
Then say it out loud.
Ready?
Situation 1. Your coworker says, "Do you have a minute?"
You could answer, Sure, what's up?
Situation 2. Someone speaks too quickly and you don't understand.
Say, Sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you say it again?
Situation 3. You disagree with an idea.
Try, I see your point, but I have a different perspective.
Situation 4. You need more time.
Say, Would it be possible to extend the deadline?
Situation 5. Your coworker asks for help, but you're busy.
Try. I'd be happy to help, but I'm working on a deadline right now. Could we talk later?
Excellent.
And now, let's remember something important.
Learning English is not about collecting thousands of difficult words.
It's about becoming comfortable with real communication.
Listen to English.
Notice how people speak.
Learn useful expressions.
Repeat them.
And most importantly,
Use them.
you don't have to wait until your English is perfect.
Because perfection is not the goal.
Communication is.
And every conversation gives you another opportunity to improve.
So the next time you hear someone say, "Do you have a minute?"
You'll know exactly what to say.
And the next time you don't understand something,
You won't panic.
you'll simply say,
Sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you repeat it?
"That's real English."
And that's exactly what we want you to practice here.
If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to English Rise Podcast.
And share this episode with someone who is learning English.
Also, tell us in the comments.
What is the hardest part of English for you? Listening, speaking, vocabulary, or grammar?
Your answer might help us create the next episode.
Keep listening,
Keep speaking,
and don't be afraid of mistakes.
because every mistake can teach you something.
See you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.